All right. Welcome, everyone. Chat's dead, of course. We know this. That's life. That is life for those of us that are unattractive and untalented. Really, there's no reason to watch. Nonetheless, oh god, wrong tube. Nonetheless, building a one shot. I'm just going to talk through it as I go, because I know there are lots of dungeon masters out there, or aspiring dungeon masters, who have trouble staying organized when they're making homebrew campaigns and whatnot. So I'm going to show you what I do. It's nothing crazy fancy or innovative, but it's solid and it works. Pretty much I use OneNote. You could use pretty much any notebook application. I don't know of any others, but I'm sure it wouldn't take much looking to find like something free. You don't have Microsoft Suite. Um, and then I just I make my headers. Uh, but I think pretty much what the Dungeon Master's Guide recommends. They actually like if you haven't read that section of the Dungeon Master's Guide pretty closely, like they suggest how to organize. So basically, for our tabs, we're gonna have planner. I'll go back and explain each one of these. We're gonna have log, adventure log. I'll just put ADV log. There's quite a few tabs, so I try to abbreviate them so I can have them all displayed up here, and I don't have like some hidden in the ellipses. Then you have your PCs, NPC, NPC. Then I like to have my encounters. Basically, when I'm preparing discrete encounters, you know, like players versus some monsters and whatnot, I uh I just like to screenshot their stat blocks and stick them in here. Um, but if you have D&D Beyond, like they have that encounter builder, which works really well. It's it's really good if you're going more on the fly. You can get a bunch of monsters and throw them in that encounter and save it, and you just got all your stats there. But I try to if I'm planning ahead a little bit, I like to just post the screen captures in here. So encounters. Calendar. Calendar. Locations. That should be pretty much all you need. So, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and writing one shot begins with a single fucking letter, man. Um, here for our pages, it's really like I don't know. Most of you probably took like an English class. Covered the typical formula of a story, right? You have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So page titles here are going to be really simple: beginning, middle, and end. And this is a one shot, right? Like the party is gonna go through this module in 3 to 4 hours. Okay. So typically, unless you just want your one shots to be just like an orgy of dice rolling, like just combat, start to finish, which nothing wrong with that. But like typically, if you want to tell any kind of story or like, sort of drive a narrative a little bit, you have to write it a little bit tighter than you would a more open-ended campaign that's intended to go for multiple sessions, weeks and months. And so that can, I mean, it's limiting on one hand, but it's also kind of cool. Because you get to tell like this whole story, even if it's just like a little tiny story. You get to tell this whole story in one session, start to finish. And like, if you're just getting in to DMing, or want to, I would suggest running one shots first, because like I think a lot of DMs, they go in like they keep their campaign too broad to start with. They're like, we're going to meet every week. It's going to be great. People are going to be engaged all the time. And, something will develop over time. And that's true. Things do develop over time. But like, even if your players are your best friends and they love you and give you all the support in the world, and, I hope that's the case. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes we're just playing with random people or people that are like a little bit hesitant and like, they're not sure if D&D's for them. Like, you want to give them a good time. And especially if they're new players, like when you turn to them and ask them, what do you want to do? They're like, is there a menu? It can be, if you're new to D&D, it can be hard to get your head around the fact like you can literally do anything. You just say what you want to do, and it is. But writing a tighter story, like a one shot, something that can be told in one session, like it not only gives you like a sort of like a, I don't know, a set of restraints to work within. It also gives your players, like, if you just drop your party in a town on the Sword Coast and tell them, there's wilderness to the east, there's dwarven mines to the north, the seas to the west, and there's a jungle down south. What do you want to do? Like, that's like overload. Maybe like underload. Like, somebody that's really creative might hear that and just imagine a world of possibilities. Somebody that's, needs a little more direction might hear that and be like, that's it? So, building out a really tight narrative for one shot, it can be a lot more engaging for new players. And it takes a lot of the burden of the unknown off of the dungeon master as well. Because I get caught too sometimes, just like looking at my campaign. I have like a few big picture, like rough ideas of what I want to happen, but there's like a lot of things in the interim. Like, I don't know what the party wants to do. I don't know where they may want to go. I don't know where to build. So don't knock one shots. And this is something I've been guilty of and probably still am. Like, I think, I don't know. I don't have anything to back this up. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like I'm not. I feel like most people that want to get involved in D&D, the fact that a campaign typically stretches, sessions, and you're meeting, recurring like weekly or every other week or something. Like, I feel like that is appealing to people. Like, they enjoy that. They don't necessarily want one and done encounters, and like it. I don't know. It's like watching one episode of a TV show versus watching a movie. Like, generally people want things that are more immersive. I mean, that's why we binge watch TV shows now. Like, you want it to keep going. Um, but don't knock just like standalone episodic encounters. They can be really compelling, and hopefully what they do is like they leave you thirsty to come back and do it again, to go through this rise and fall of a narrative. Um when you're Even if you're a long time dungeon master, maybe the party's ready for a little break from the main campaign. Like, instead of taking a hiatus or like starting a second long campaign or something, make a tight one shot. Just set out with the goal, I want to tell this story in one session. All right? It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to make. It's even more fun to play. Let's get into it. My premise for this one shot is super simple. We start simple and then we build details in and whatnot. All right, so my premise for this one shot: the party must stop Santa from delivering presents on Christmas. Super simple, right? All right. And then, of course, we're going to ask why. And you have like, I don't usually type my stuff out here, but I'm going to type it out for you. But I mean, of course, there's no answer to that question yet. That why question. That's what we're here. That's what we're here to answer. Like, you make it up. So why would the party want to stop Santa? Are they evil? Is there um Santa's rival hires the party? That could be a thing. Um is Santa actually, like, is there some sort of nefarious centuries long plot that's about to come to fulfillment, the culmination of delivering presents this year? That feels pretty epic. I've got a couple of my keys taped together for Fortnite, so you'll see a lot of Miss King when I hit A and D. Um, don't worry about it. I'm gonna check my messages real quick. Oh God. I asked chick from Tinder if she wants to go get her. Santa's actually evil. We'll stop. Then what if I like the idea that Santa's actually evil? Like, I don't know, when I think about Santa, I just like I think about the elves, I think about his workshop, and I'm like, what if he's like a slaver? Like what if he entraps, all kinds of different races from across Faerun, forces him to work at the North Pole. By the way, we're gonna place the North Pole in some sort of canon location. Um, we'll get there. Just call it the North. And like, what I was thinking, what if Santa he doesn't even live at the North? That's just where he has his labor camp. The other 365 days of the year, or 364 days of the year, what if, um, I guess it would be 300 days of the year on D&D calendar. Anyway, what if he actually lives like in the south, like in Chol? Like, what if he lives in like some kind of luxurious mansion by a beach off the coast of Chol and is, you know, to the south, his mansion is like protected by all that thick ass jungle. Chol's basically just one big jungle, right? And then, to the north, you have the sea. Um, so my the wheels are starting to spin a little bit. I'm thinking about this. So I want to run with that idea. I'm gonna stop here and just pop out. I can write a little bit longer paragraph. All right. We're just getting started. I'm kind of doing a little how-to tutorial. I was just going through setting up tabs and whatnot. Now we're getting into the meat of it. So Santa runs a labor camp in the North Pole. He doesn't actually live in the North Pole. He lives in like a tropical mansion in Chult. I think I'm gonna have the campaign open with the party raiding, like raiding a North Pole, like a decoy mansion. You know, make it like real picturesque, like straight up, you know, Santa's little house at the North Pole. And then, you know, of course, they bust in, kill some baddies, and they're like, "Where's Santa?" And then, you know, they'll like uncover that Santa's actually just running a labor camp in the North Pole. What you got? Elves using trees as bows? Oh yeah. So like a whole live tree, they just set it up. Okay. Did you ever, when you were a kid, did you ever like climb up a small tree? You know, one that was small enough that it would like bend, and you got towards the top, and like turn yourself into a catapult? I think it's Robert Frost. There's a poem called Willows, and it's about this kid like climbing up these willow trees and bending them over, and like, dude, like the way I read it, there was just a lot of really sexual imagery, and I feel like I made a pretty good argument for it to my professor. He just like he wasn't having it. Like, I know what you're talking about when you're talking about bending over trees. Hey buddy, talking about how the willow leaves look like ladies' hair. I know what you're thinking about. Super sus. How you been? How's the games going? Is the north of the fortress or his labor camp? I'm interested, once I get an incarnate to make up some maps, I'm kind of interested to see. Nice. You always gotta get the SO involved, man. Sometimes it backfires. But you always gotta try. That's cool. And I can't remember. Do you stream your campaigns? See, I'm always iffy about like I always try to warn new players that playing like magic heavy classes. Okay, yeah, I remember basement. It's like I don't know, wizards and clerics and whatnot. Like there's more to manage than with other like you know martial classes like that. Rocket League. I feel like I'm too late to the party on Rocket League. I just got to stick to sucking at Fortnite. Uh, okay, so we know Santa's an evil slave driver pretty much. We haven't really addressed why the party wants to stop. I might get into it. I don't know, since we've gone back, I was working at home for a few months and it was a lot easier to have a couple different games and keep up with work. Now that I'm going back to the office, like I'm just so tired when I get home. Pretty much prepping for the weekly campaign is feels like all I get done in the week outside of work. Right, I'm gonna drop down here. In your van? My brother's calling. Hang on. Tell him to tell me on Discord. The Cable Guy. Man, you know that Jim Carrey movie, The Cable Guy? Like, I didn't watch it when it came out. It's like, it didn't look like something that child me would be that into. But I watched it years later, and I don't remember that much about it, but that shit was dark. I remember that. It was like, what the F? Things got serious. You'll probably see all sorts of like technical inaccuracies, like that's not a coaxial cable at all. What if there's like sort of an underground resistance, like a small group of slaves that have escaped from Santa's labor camps and they've organized. They want to take him down. And maybe like I don't know, good and evil, like I feel like there's a lot of pressure to like codify whether or not a character is good or evil in D&D, you know, because we have those alignments and whatnot. And I don't know, I feel like the alignment system gets knocked because we're all so woke nowadays and realize the grayness of life and reality. But like, I still like the alignment system, but I feel like Santa is ultimately evil, but like does have a benevolent side. Like, and he justifies running labor camps by the fact that he brings like joy to the rest of the world, whatever. Also, I don't know. I don't know how deep I want to get into like fitting Santa into the canon of D&D stuff. I don't really know if it's necessary for a one shot. Ooh. Okay, I like that idea. What if Okay, so I was thinking, dude, I'm probably gonna steal that idea. So I was thinking that like it was a secret labor camp and like, you know, nobody knew what Santa was doing, you know, to get all those toys made. But like what if people kinda know? What if parents send their kids to Santa's workshop? You know, like that's where bad kids go. And parents, you know, they like it's like a low key punishment, but really it's like, oh, go build character, Timmy. Scared straight, sort of like you said. But like They don't realize that Santa's actually psychopath and basically runs it like a slave camp. So they think they're sending their kids to like, you know, like sort of like a character building camp where they'll make friends and shit. And really it's just like you're gonna go starve in the cold while Santa's just chilling out in his tropical mansion. This is like that movie Heavyweights. That's one of my all-time favorite movies. FYI. It's giving me kind of that vibe. That would be super fun to run with. All right. All right. We're can we call it we're going to call us Camp Santa's Little Helpers. That's like the name of the program that parents send their kids to. And what if we could make the party like what if the party is some kids who got sent to the camp and then they've got to like rebel? Like they'll liberate the camp, take down the baddies, and then like then they go to Santa's tropical mansion, and that's where they have their final showdown, their boss fight. I also like Sentient Caribou. Oh, I was thinking about that. I was like in line with like sort of the tropical theme. I was like, what if the reindeer are just illusions? What if Santa's sled is actually pulled by like black jungle panthers? I feel like that's a lot sexier and scarier. All right. Character building. Yeah. So I had a request from I think a couple of the party members to make this like a high level campaign. And like I want to accommodate them because you know it's I mean it's about them. It should be fun. But also, man, D&D can get real tedious at higher levels. You've got so many things going on. Um and also like if I'm doing this kids camp angle, um what how do I justify children being 15th level or whatever? Maybe we just kind of like don't. I mean, we could just not address it. It can just be one of those things that like it is what it is. We're just playing it out at this level. Um, I don't know. I'm not gonna think about it too much right now. All right. Parents sign their children up for the Santa's Little Helpers program. I like that thing about the Waystone. Like, I feel like I want the party to be children, and I want them to be like start as prisoners. I don't know. I like that idea. So we're gonna make that stick somehow. As far as like the level, I mean, kind of just feel like it'll just be what it is. We won't talk about why these 10-year-olds are, you know, are 15th level. They're just prodigies. They're just very talented young people. They gonna be thick. Look at that boy, he's thick. This lo-fi is kind of nice. I didn't check to see if this is copyright free, so my channel's deleted midstream. Been fun. All right, the children are teleported. Camp Little Helper. Calling it Camp Little Helper. What if... Alright. What if time passes differently at the North Pole? I mean, this could be an easy way to justify the level. Like, what if time passes differently? So the parents feel like they're just sending their kids to like a 3-month camp or whatever. But the amount of time that actually passes while they're in the North Pole is like 100 years. That's what it feels like. These kids, they come back to their families having suffered like 100 years of physical and emotional abuse. Holy shit. Pretty dark. Like, all right. All right. All right. That's what parents think happens when they go Camp Little Helper. Actually happen. Mercilessly exploited. Yeah. I mean, they're definitely gonna find awesome gear. While they like when they liberate the camp, like they'll start ungeared, and then like I feel like as soon as they beat the camp, they get all their cool like high level magic items and play the rest of the game with it. Um, let's see. This is starting to sound really fun. Time passes differently in the North Pole. The families, the children only seem to be gone for a few months. Ill month. Dude, it very easily could. Do you okay, what is it? Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes? I think that's the book I go back and just reread more than any of the others. Just because I love reading about the Blood War. Like, and I've been guilty of this the last two campaigns I've DM'd in the last couple of years. Like I always try to work some element of the Blood War into the campaign. Demons and devils are just too cool to leave out. Dude, those are two of my favorites. Critical Role, especially. Like, I listen to that every week. Just their second campaign. Like, I tried to get into their first one. I started around the. I started pretty much when they started their second campaign. That's when I started listening. I've tried to go back and listen to the first, and I just, like, I don't know. Can't get into it. I'm just too committed to the characters they're running in their second campaign. Not Another D&D podcast was like it was really good in the beginning, and I feel like Not Another D&D podcast has just kind of gone downhill. um I'm probably gonna be, I don't know, probably gonna get labeled a woman hater, but like I feel like Emily Axford, as smart and funny as she is, I feel like she kind of just co-opted the show, and you just don't really get to hear from I can't remember the actors' names, but yeah, Beverly and, oh crap, I forgot Jake's character's name. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, she's just like she's just a lot. But also like, yeah, Caldwell. Um but I mean, like, I did binge that podcast pretty hard, so maybe part of it is I burned myself out a little bit, but I haven't been keeping up with NADPOD for like probably at least for the last 6 months. I kind of haven't thought about it. They are the only, I think they're the only podcast that I've actually given money to. I did buy a NADPOD shirt. Uh, remember the Moonstone Jamboree from early episodes? I loved that storyline. And they made a Moonstone Jamboree shirt. Good shirt. No regrets on that. Oh, if so did you ever can't remember the name of the damn show, but did you ever watch the Netflix show that um Ryan Murphy and Emily Axford made? I think it's called Hot Date. It would like I enjoyed it. It's mostly it's a sketch comedy show, but it's got quite a bit of continuity. Um, it was good for what it was. Like I don't know if I'd watch another season of it, but I'm glad I watched the first season. I don't even know if there's gonna be more seasons. It might have just been a standalone. Okay, so yeah, so I think we've almost got what we need to wrap up the beginning. We just need a little hook here. So party. Okay, Tugs. Have a good day at work, dude. Thanks for stopping in. Tuesday night, 7:30 Eastern time. If you happen to be free, that's when we'll be running this one shot. You can see how it turns out. Um, yeah. I'm gonna use the bathroom and take my dogs. I will BRB. And I don't know why. I guess I'll just put it on cam. Not really sure why the text doesn't update. Interesting. Whatever. It's fine. All right. Hello? Okay, thank you. As my food is here, I'm gonna hop off and eat. I'm gonna work some more on this campaign, but I don't figure you want to watch me eat. And I'll hop back on. Let me. I'll hop back on this afternoon for some Fortnite action. How's that sound? Alright, I'll see y'all in a few hours. Bye bye.